Next, we have the session Collaborative Potential that partnerships offer towards concrete climate action by Ms. Anuradha Mathur. Ms. Anuradha is a research associate working with the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI, for over 2 years. She is part of the Secretariat of the World Sustainable Development Summit, TERI's annual flagship event. While at TERI, she has successfully conducted numerous summits that respond to the urgent demands of the SDGs. She is currently steering the COP26 Charter of Actions, a knowledge document being prepared by TERI, which proposes probable and sector specific options to advance climate action and ambition in India. She was recently the recipient of the prestigious Roll of Honor, a TERI citation that recognizes significant contributions to the organization. Thank you so much, Ms. Anuradha, for joining us today. Over to you for your session, Collaborative Potential that Partnerships Offer Towards Creating Concrete Climate Action.
Thank you so much, Aparna. I hope you're able to hear me clearly and my screen is visible. And
Perfect, perfect.
thank you for having me here today. This has been great. And, listening to the previous speakers, they've highlighted some great points. So just want to thank you for that. And I'll just begin in a second. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about looking, relevance of SDG 17 in the context of the pandemic, its larger role and how it shaped the working at TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute. So, as we all know, the recent report by the IPCC has really highlighted how we are beyond a tipping point. Like we have reached a stage where, it is up to us now to take the real action towards climate change. And the findings have made it very clear that it shows that much of the damage caused by climate change is now irreversible. So, let that sink in. I mean, we are at a very crucial stage right now. The science has been there for decades, pounding at our door, urging us to listen, to act before it's too late. Today, the world stands at a crucial juncture where any wrong turn can lead to a cascade of tipping points. Every decision, every concrete action taken now will decide the fate of not just the humanity, but the countless other species in the biosphere. So, keeping this in mind, my next slide is on SDG 17 and how this, and highlighted earlier by so many speakers, is the most important SDG, because without this, achieving the rest of the 16 make is very difficult. We have to come together to battle, climate change and achieve all the other SDGs. Um, the 2030 agenda is a plan for action for people, planet, and prosperity. It makes it very clear that we leaving no one behind. It's the most central to it. And climate change being one of the greatest challenges humanity is facing currently and continues to. We see it every day, not just in India, we see it globally. There have been floods, there have been extreme droughts, there have been landslides. Every other day, we hear about hurricanes and something or the other. We are constantly facing this. And the IPCC report highlights it even further. So, Goal 17 is for partnerships and collaborations to allow diverse views and gives equal opportunity to a wide section of civil society to air concerns and participate towards concrete action. The Goal 17 has 19 targets under it, broadly under finance, technology, capacity building, trade, and systematic issues. Now, I will highlight a bit further on finance aspect of it later into my presentation. But these are the finance is basically, I'll just touch upon it a little bit, is to send in domestic resource mobilization, mobilize additional finances under technology. It targets to enhance north south, south south, and triangular regional and international cooperation on and access to science, technology, and innovation. Then capacity building, trade being very important, and systemic issues, which are, say, policy and institutional coherence, multi stakeholder partnerships, data monitoring, and accountability. Moving on. So, COVID 19 and the SDGs. So, as we all know, we continue, it's not over. We continue to face this pandemic. And in a way, also brought us together, right? I mean, I feel all of us today are more connected than we were ever before. We have seen this, we have learned from each other, but be it developed or developing countries, be it in terms of vaccines, be it in terms of how to treat COVID or how to fight COVID. And we've done it together. This shows that coming together and collaborating in partnerships only helps us be better together. And the pandemic is a big highlight of that. And the world is more interconnected than ever before. Improving access to technology and knowledge is an important way to share ideas and foster innovation. Coordinating policies to help developing countries manage their debt, as well as promoting investment for the least developed, is vital to sustainable growth and development. So, moving forward, right. So, coming to the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. So, we're a think tank, and TERI is been working in this sector for the past almost 5 decades now. The mission is to serve as innovators and agents of change to enable policies, practices for an equitable and sustainable future through conversation and efficient use of energy and other resources. Terry, how does India meet challenges for transitioning to a low carbon economy and provide clean energy, food security, jobs, and better quality of life in its 1.4 billion population? How does it ensure that this transition is economically viable and socially inclusive? These questions are at the heart of Terry's research, while working across policy, technology development, consultancy, and implementation of projects. Nearly 5 decades of our journey since we started in 1974, Terry remains committed to ambitious to help India and Global South create a sustainable, healthy, and equitable future for all. Terry is a think tank, a do tank, and a tech tank. And we continue to strive further to be better and more, do our research and policy and bring out the best of knowledge that there is. We are headquartered at New Delhi, and we have different campuses and regional offices in Gurugram, Bangalore, Guwahati, Mumbai, Goa, and Nainital. Terry and the SDGs. In this regard, Terry is committed to tackle issues of concern to India, to Indian society, and to the world at large, and to be a knowledge based agent of change for realizing a shared vision of the global sustainable development. At all stages, Terry seeks to develop deeper understanding and expertise around SDGs, particularly those related to energy, environment, and natural resources, which inevitably involve a complex interplay of science, technologies, social and economic forces, and regulatory governance issues. Technologies of yesterday might not be relevant today, and therefore the need for constant upgradation. We at TEDI pride ourselves in being an institution which not only is working in influencing policy but also working on breakthrough technology by harnessing the frontiers of science to address climate change, waste management, and energy insecurity. So, coming to Terry's flagship event, this is also to cite that how we have had a platform for nearly 20 decades, for 20 years, for 2 decades, which has, got thought leaders, heads of state and government, scholars, corporates, youth groups, civil society representatives from across the globe together on a single platform. The World Sustainable Development Summit is the annual flagship Track to initiative of the Energy and Resources Institute, instituted in 2001 as then called the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit. The summit series marked 20 years on its journey this year. And in February 2021, we had the summit being inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India, among other dignitaries. And some of the themes that I would like to highlight on of the summit previously, taking the last three, 2019, which was attaining the 2030 agenda, delivering on our promise. The 2020 theme for the summit was towards the 2030 goals, making the decade count. And the 2021, which was the 20th edition, was redefining our common future, safe and secure environment for all. So we believe in having key themes that are inclusive, diverse, and are hitting the right relevant issues that are concerned to sustainable development. Um, the WSDS is a platform that perhaps the only platform in the developing world taking place at the scale at that it does. It enhances knowledge, ideas, and best practices, contributes towards achieving the SDGs and the goals of the Paris Agreement by encouraging collaborative and collective driven action. The 2022 summit is going to be happening in February. Some of the previous highlights from WSDS, these are just some. There are way more, and various different MOUs and policy changes and policy research documents, reports, and numerous other um, documents that we've come out with. But just a few is, there's been an MOU signing between UN Habitat and Terry at the Monaco International Dialogue. So each year the summit is not just a standalone event. It moves from one summit to the other. In between we have dialogues. So before the pandemic we were hosting it on ground, and there were two types. There was a regional dialogue which took place in different with different cities in India. So there would be Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai, Guwahati, to name a few. And then there were the international dialogues which took place in another country, depending. So one of them being Monaco, which was the most recent, which happened in July 2019. Of course, after that, because of the pandemic, that's not possible. But at the Monaco dialogue, also we signed a MOU with a MSMEs in India, which together we hosted a platform which is called IFAT Delhi, which was their first exhibition in Delhi, which showcased clean and green technologies. This happened in January of 2020. And yes, okay, this is just a snapshot of the key summits, the series. So we've had 52 heads of state, 78 ministers, 13 Nobel laureates, and over 26,000 delegates. Okay, so coming to the COP26 Charter of Action. So this Terry is developing a COP26 Charter of Actions, keeping in mind the importance of COP26. We are developing a knowledge document which is titled the COP26 Charter of Actions. This will assimilate questions and challenges posed by key sectors in India. The charter will also propose probable and sector specific options which can advance climate action and ambition in the country. Mobilizing support, raising ambition, and urging for action is what the Charter intends to disseminate through its 7 instrumental themes. And the themes are here. So we have 7 themes which are of equity, green finance, adaptation and resilience, nature based solutions, business and industry, renewable energy, and sustainable mobility. We have come up with we've had 36 authors, 9 reviewers, and a grand total of 45 individuals working towards this to prepare this. We would like to also let you know that we will be launching this officially at COP26, which is shortly in another week's time. And we will be providing links to this on our website later. So this is a key knowledge document that we will be showcasing and talking about at COP26. Now, coming to the key theme of finance. So, and linking it to SDG 17, because under SDG, the target of SDG 17, finance is very important. So, out of the several chapters, green finance is one of them. So the chapter, so in August 2021, we had 5 dialogues, stakeholder dialogues, where we presented the key findings of each of the chapters and took feedback and improved on it and put it together. So some of it is, the key highlights were, in the short term, post the COVID-19 recovery, there has been a demarcated need to lay down foundations for an enabling environment for green finance while simultaneously building awareness and capacity of key stakeholders. There is also an urgent need to distinguish climate finance from green finance. the former being a subset of the latter and a specific area of concern for climate negotiations. Targets set under the long term finance need to be defined and assessed. Greater clarity on Article 6 mechanism of the Paris Agreement is also warranted. Decision making processes for state and national budgeting have the potential to be reformed using frameworks aligned with budgeting for NDCs, SDGs, or those of green budgeting. The chapter highlights a few key points that progress was made on achieving the US 100 billion per year target overall, but overall this goal was not met. There's a catalyst there is a catalyst role that well designed markets and non-market mechanisms along with financial instrument and voluntary initiatives can play in facilitating this. But with clarity on Article 6 of the Paris Agreement still being elusive, the various mechanisms being developed and launched are disassociated from each other. And the aim of the international cooperation for enhanced climate ambition through these and the ability to reach the full potential is limited. At present, some critical interventions and support needed by the global south for transitioning to low carbon pathways is not covered under the several prevailing definitions of climate finance. In India, these include support measures for improving operational efficiencies of high emitting industries, building cross sectoral climate resilience, and green infrastructures for rural development, which have the potential to generate sizable amounts of robust climate mitigation assets. While the global stocktake drawing close, especially in the wake of the pandemic recovery, addressing these gaps will take key center stage. So there is a need for greater transparency of information through disclosure of standards and financial systems. And with this, I would SDG 17 is the key goal, and it's the one that I feel be able to achieve all the other goals. So thank you so much, and thank you Aparna, and thank you Santosh for having me, and all the other speakers. It was really great listening to all of you, and I'll be putting the link for our website and other details that if you need in the chat box here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anuradha, for that
Thank
excellent
you.
session. It was great to know about the World Sustainable Development Summit and the activities of Terry in detail. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks to Terry for supporting GCPIT by being a partner
Thank you
in
so
this.
much for having us. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Now